My name is Dan, and I'm the founder of Foxlister.com. Foxlister is an e-commerce platform where you create a product once and publish it across eBay, Amazon, Etsy, TikTok Shop, Shopify, Walmart, and more, with orders and inventory kept in sync on every channel. We also offer AI-generated video content and fulfillment to help sellers scale. As a seller of 10 years, Foxlister gave me the tools to stay efficient and competitive, and it starts at just $12 a month. If you haven't already, go ahead and join. Let Foxlister be your e-commerce AI agent that improves as the e-commerce landscape changes. In this video, I am going to walk you through my entire first year selling private label products from China. If you have never heard that term, private label just means you purchase a generic item from a factory, put your own brand on it, and sell it as your own. My company was called Pine. I started in May with a single test order of 80 Pest repellers for $267. By the end of December, the store had sold a little over $154,000. Every number here comes straight from my real order exports and supplier receipts. None of it is rounded up to look good. This is exactly what happened, including the parts where I lost money. I lost my inventory in one specific way that still stings. Early on, I stored my stock in the Chinese white label warehouses. This was the fulfillment program TikTok steered me toward. They lost approximately $15,000 worth of my goods. This wasn't unsold stock. It was product I had already paid for that never returned to me. The timing couldn't have been worse. It hit during the fourth quarter, which are my two biggest months. If I still had those items, this year would have shown another $50,000 in profit. Every profit number in this video already absorbs that loss. I will be pursuing legal action to get my money back. Take one warning from this video: do not use those TikTok warehouses. It was the hardest lesson I learned all year. I deeply regret trusting TikTok. I want to be honest about where I started because I knew almost nothing. I didn't know how to speak with a supplier or negotiate with a factory. I had no idea what shipping from China would cost, and I didn't understand marketplace fees at all. I figured it out as I went. I made real mistakes along the way, but two lessons stood out. First, inventory ties up your cash for months. Second, your sales live and die by short videos, which are the hardest part of this when you're doing it alone. Here is the year-end summary. Total sales reached $154,000 from 9,864 orders. I shipped approximately 11,000 units. These requests spanned 27 products sourced from roughly 20 different suppliers. One figure that surprises people most is the average order size. That amount was only $15.68. This involved affordable kitchen and bathroom items that sold consistently every single day. Let me walk you through how the year went, because the timeline makes everything else make sense. On May 5th, I placed my first test order. I bought 80 repellers for $267. I kept the quantity small on purpose, since I had no idea if this would actually work. On May 22nd, I got my first sale. This proved a complete stranger would buy from my little brand. That success gave me the confidence to reorder, increasing the amount a little each time. By mid-July, sales were steady enough that I placed a much bigger order. I purchased 4,800 units for about $8,000. Sending that much overseas made me nervous, but it was the right call. November became my biggest month at $47,500. It should have been even bigger, though. The fourth quarter is exactly when those warehouses lost my inventory. Consequently, I was short on my fastest sellers during the busiest weeks. Without that loss, November and December together would have been close to $50,000 higher. Let's look at the month-to-month growth. July was my first full month, generating approximately $16,000. August and September remained flat, holding steady near $15,000 each. October climbed to $24,000, and then November nearly doubled that figure. The reason is simple. Every product video from the entire year stayed active. When holiday traffic arrived, it hit all of them simultaneously. I will explain how those clips functioned in the marketing section, as they served as the entire engine. This is the first half of my product list, sorted by revenue. The Pest repellers topped the list on their own, totaling $45,000. Next was a Stormtrooper whiskey decanter set at about $9,900. Then came an electric salt and pepper grinder at $8,400, adhesive shower caddies at $8,300, and an over-the-door organizer at $7,600. A boxing reflex ball brought in $7,100, while a Wi-Fi extender did about $7,400. Below those sit a drill brush set, a fidget pen, a memory foam pillow, ice cube trays, and a car detailing kit. Each of those items earned between $1,000 and $4,000. Notice something right away, these are all boring, everyday products. That was intentional. As a beginner, I stuck to cheap, simple things people were already buying. I wasn't inventing anything. I just wanted goods I could purchase for a couple of dollars that consumers already understood. Here is the second half. This is the part most people never show you, the products that failed. The wrench set brought back $19 out of about $1,000 spent. For the diamond steering wheel set, the return was $121 on almost $1,600 spent. The knife sharpener kit brought in about $900 from $1,570. Those three were just honest misses. The credit card skins look like a fourth, returning $12 on $725 spent. However, that one was not the market. TikTok's warehouse shipped almost the entire batch to a single buyer by mistake. This meant most of that inventory was simply gone. Out of 27 products, only about 8 became real winners. That ratio is normal in this business. If you expect every item to hit, your first failure will crush you and you will quit. I expected some to fail. I kept each bet small enough so that one loss couldn't take me out. I discovered something unexpected. Most of the revenue came from just a couple of items. For instance, the Pest Repeller alone generated 38% of my product sales. Furthermore, my top 5 items accounted for over 70%. While most of what I tried did okay or failed, a small handful carried the store. This is good news for a beginner. You only need to find 1 or 2 products that really work. I will walk you through the Pest Repeller step by step to demonstrate the entire method. For a test, I purchased 80 sets for $267 on May 5th. These items sold out quickly. I then ordered 1,600 more on May 28th. This volume dropped my cost to 91 cents per set. Since those units continued selling, I placed my largest order of 4,800 additional pieces in July. By the end of December, 4,966 two-packs had sold for a little over $45,000. Here is the money side, kept simple. My landed cost was about $1.60 per unit, which just means what one costs me with shipping, from China included. Each two-pack sold for about $9. Over the year, I put about $21,000 into that product's inventory. It brought back $45,000, and I still had stock left. What drove it all was content. The videos for this one product passed 3 million views. That traffic was split between real creators and AI content across every platform. My number 2 product was the Wi-Fi extender. It cost me approximately $2.50 per unit. I sold it for around $14 an order, with roughly $5 to $6 of that amount going to shipping. Based on that $2.50 cost, the item still returned more than 3 times over. I sold 986 units out of the 2,500 I purchased. This left about 1,500 units still in stock, all of which were already paid for. That leftover inventory is not wasted money. It just sells next year instead of this year. The videos for this product also passed 3 million views. This happened because I used the exact same approach as the Repeller. My third product taught me the biggest pricing lesson of the year. The electric grinder set generated $8,400. On my dashboard, the item appeared to be a winner. However, the margin was the problem. It cost me $7.38 landed. I sold each unit for about $12.50, which is only 1.7 times my investment. After fees and any discount, there was basically nothing left. It sold well all year, yet still lost me money. Consequently, I now have a rule. If I cannot sell an item for at least 2.5 times what I paid, I don't order it. Once I saw that, the pattern became obvious. Every successful product cost between $1 and $3 while selling for $7 to $20. In contrast, every item that struggled had a thin gap between its cost and price. These figures come straight from my receipts and sales export, calculated before fees and marketing. Now let me put the return in perspective, because this surprises people the most. Look at these 4 bars. They all show what $1 turns into. The S&P 500 turns $1 into about $1.10 in an average year. A rental property might turn it into $1.08. My inventory turned every dollar into about $1.48 within 8 months. And that already includes my failed products and unsold stock. And on the sales themselves, every dollar of product cost came back as about $2.50 each time a unit sold. Even with all my beginner mistakes, that's a completely different level from what most people are used to. Now let's talk about sourcing, which nobody prepared me for. Over the year, I sent a little over $104,000 to factories. This total covered 47 purchase orders for about 28,000 units. In May, the cost was around $5,000. June reached 12,000, while July jumped to 21,000. August peaked at almost 30,000 in a single month, with September close behind at 20. That surge occurred because I was stocking up for the holidays months before those sales showed up. The money goes out long before it comes back, and you must sit in that gap. However, that is not really a problem. It is the same as putting your funds into stocks or real estate. You cannot pull your cash out overnight there either. The business stayed net profitable the whole time. Therefore, that gap was never as expensive or as scary as it might sound. That brings me to the number I watch most now, sell-through, meaning how much of what I bought actually sold. By December 31st, only about 40% had. My decanter set nearly sold out at 96%, and the shower caddies hit 78%. The organizer and grinder each did about half. Even the Repeller, my biggest winner, only sold through 37% because I kept restocking it. And the Wi-Fi extender came in around 41%. Then we have the painful ones. The car scratch remover sat at 16%. The spice rack sold through 12%, and the shoe boxes died at 9%. Every unsold unit is just my cash on a shelf, waiting. And that's separate from the $15,000 the warehouses lost outright. That wasn't a demand problem. It was a partner problem. And it's why I'm so careful now about who touches my inventory. For a long time, I believed the magnetic spice rack was my worst purchase of the year. I ordered 1,700 units for $16,300. On paper, only 200 pieces sold. This represents a 12% sell-through rate. However, that figure didn't mean the market rejected the item. TikTok's warehouse lost roughly 1,000 of those units. That was inventory I had already paid for, yet those products simply never returned to me. The actual lesson is not that I ordered too much. Instead, I trusted the wrong people to hold my goods. A warehouse that loses your stock can make a perfectly good product look like a disaster. You never see that money again. Here is how the marketing worked, and this is the wild part. I spent $0 on ads all year. The entire engine relied on creator samples. For each product, I shipped about 100 free sample short video creators. These were just regular people making videos at home. They filmed the product in their own kitchen or bathroom, completely unscripted, and earned a commission on whatever sold. That was it. My strongest videos hit millions of views. Here is the part that matters most. These videos aren't tied to one app. The same content works on Facebook Reels, as a Facebook ad, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, and it feeds Google Shopping. Live shopping is the next big wave. It is already on eBay and Instagram, and Google is rolling it out. Right now, you are never dependent on one platform's rules. Create the video once and put it everywhere people buy. Those samples weren't free for me, so here is the breakdown of what they cost. Every box required a $5 shipping label. The product inside averaged about $2. This means each sample cost roughly $7 out of my pocket. Sending 100 units per product cost about $700. I spent that money before a single organic sale came in. I did this for every item I pushed. That is the real cost nobody mentions. And here is what surprised me most. Only about 1 video in 5 performed. The other 4 barely got views. So to get 1 video that actually sold, I was really paying for 5 boxes. That meant I was spending about $35 per performing video. My 100 boxes per product turned into roughly 20 that worked. It worked. And all the revenue numbers here came from that strategy. But you have to see the other side. 80 out of every 100 boxes did absolutely nothing. Each round meant waiting 1 to 2 weeks just to find out which videos landed. That waste and waiting were the real price. Waiting and waste were the most expensive parts of my year, right alongside the warehouse loss. At that time, there was no way around the video component. It was simply the cost of doing business. Since then, however, that exact process turned into software. I want to show you those results now because the tools I used to fix this come from Foxlister. Compare the old method against the new way. Previously, every performing video cost me $35. That process required waiting 1 to 2 weeks. I also wasted 4 boxes for every single one that worked. Now, there's Foxlister. It generates UGC style videos with AI for approximately 8 cents a second or $5 a minute. This price covers both video and audio. You are billed only for what you create. There is no subscription. You just pay as you go. Furthermore, there is no 10-second cap, so your clips can be any length. My previous performing video cost $35 and took 2 weeks. In contrast, a 30-second video now costs about $2.40, completed in minutes. Imagine launching a new product and having a high-converting video ready to post before your morning coffee without ever touching a cardboard box. The platform covers the rest of my workflow too. The Crosslister is $12 a month and publishes one product across 8 marketplaces. It keeps your inventory synced so you never oversell. The AI audio can clone your voice for narration, so your videos get a voice without you having to record twice. There are shoppable AI live streams that run while you sleep. Those are live on eBay and Instagram right now, with Google coming soon. My favorite feature is on the orders page. The extension automatically finds you the cheapest shipping label. I really could have used that when I was paying $5 a label across 1,000 boxes. They operate 5 warehouses across the United States to handle fulfillment. These facilities pick, pack, and ship your orders from every marketplace where you sell. After my experience with those TikTok warehouses, finding a logistics partner I actually trust is significant. Their pricing is $2.50 plus 50 cents a pound per order. Storage costs approximately 75 cents a cubic foot per month. Additionally, they manage all your returns. This is the logical next step when your garage can no longer hold your inventory. Visit Foxlister.com to use the cost calculator. It can price out your own volume in 30 seconds. Let me answer the 3 questions beginners ask most. First, how much do you need to start? My initial order cost $267. The software begins at $12 a month. Meanwhile, AI video and audio generation operate on a pay-as-you-go basis. This means you only pay when you use those features. Entering this field is not a $50,000 business. You can start small. Second, does AI content actually convert? To be honest, most of my human videos fail to convert as well. 4 out of 5 flop. What actually wins in this business is volume and iteration. You must test many angles cheaply and let the winners show themselves. That is exactly what 8 cents a second is built to do. Third, is it too late? I cannot predict the future for you. However, I can tell you that my education cost me about $700 in product samples. I also paid a $15,000 lesson in who to trust with my inventory. This video just handed you most of that experience for free. The only problem is we did not have these tools sooner. That concludes my first full year. We covered the wins, the failures, the money I am still fighting to recover in court, and the real numbers behind it all. If you want to use the exact tools I utilize now, head over to Foxlister.com. The Crosslister costs $12 a month. Also, the calculators are ready for you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I am breaking down every part of this business, from dropshipping and private label to shipping, fulfillment, AI video, and AI audio. There is a lot more coming. Thanks for watching.